Good morning, good morning, good morning. Great morning to your world. We are up and running on this blessed and wonderful Sunday morning. The sun is shining bright outside, as you can see. The room's kind of lit up this morning, and we're thankful for that sunshine. Praising the Lord this morning for His love, His grace, His mercy, for always delivering us through our toughest situations. That seems like the toughest situations to us in those moments. Today is just a great day for a great day, and we're definitely praising the Lord this morning as we are getting ready to get into His Word. As a lot of you all know, I've been studying the book of John, and we have been learning quite a bit. And so I want to thank the Lord and give Him praise for His Word as well, and giving us what Pastor B calls life's GPS, which is the Bible. So shout out to Pastor B this morning and all of our members at Park Valley Church, as well as I say members, all of our pastors. They're so loving, so caring, so really educational, right? They encourage us to get into the Word for ourselves. They encourage us to do small groups and really just do life together. And they do a great job at bringing everyone together in Park Valley, being the lighthouse in the community. Again, that's not just about Park Valley. That's a shout out to every church that's out there, because truth be told, there's no one that is more important than the next. And that's truly what we believe. If we're really going to be the light, if we really are being the light in this dark world that God intended us to be, right? No one place, no one building, no one group will be more important than the other. So shout out to all churches, all people that are out there, again, doing, doesn't matter, big or small, doing what God has put on their heart to, again, help be a light in a very dark world. So we're going to get into it right now. We're in John 20. This is where the resurrection begins. It's titled The Resurrection. So John 20, early on Sunday morning, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and found that the stone had been rolled away from the entrance. This is getting good. She ran and found Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved. She said, "They have taken the Lord's body out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." Peter and the other disciple started out for the tomb. They were both running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He stooped and looked in and saw the linen wrappings lying there, but he didn't go in. Then Simon Peter arrived and went inside. He also noticed the linen wrappings laying there. In 7, while the cloth that had covered Jesus' head was folded up and lying apart from the other wrappings. Then the disciple who had reached the tomb first also went in, and he saw and believed. This is really good here. I imagine that they're wondering what's going on, right? If someone were to take the body of Jesus, it's not likely that they would have left the linen. So I imagine at that point they're thinking, what is going on? All right. And then 9, this is where the confirmation happened. In 9, it says, "For until then, they still hadn't understood the scriptures that said, Jesus must rise from the dead." I'll say it again. For until then, they still hadn't understood the scriptures that said Jesus must rise from the dead. Then they went home. So in John 20, as I read John 20 and as I read John 20, I think we, as we shared before throughout the book of John, there's been many times where Jesus is saying believe, or why, basically saying, why are you still struggling with believing? You've seen the miracles that I've done, and people are still saying, hey, show me God, show me your Father, and then we will believe. And so at this point right here, this is where, again, for until then, they still hadn't understood for the scriptures that said Jesus must rise from the dead before they went home. And so my question is, as I think about that, and as we went through the book of John up until John 20, which is where we are right now, I think about how many times in our lives have we known the miracles, right? Have we seen the miracles, but we still struggle with every mountain that's not every, but we still struggle with a lot of the mountains that appear to be mountains in front of us, right? We know that the God of all gods can turn a mountain into a mole. We also know, as I shared on a message earlier this week, sometimes he will use the mountains as detours to get us on the right track. Right? Sometimes we get frustrated and we're beating our head against the wall. And truth be told, all God's trying to do is deliver us from the thing that we're asking for, the thing that we're praying for, and the scariest part, the things that we're heading towards that's going to cause destruction and disaster. And so my question is today is, just as they had to see the stone rolled away, the linen left behind, in order to connect that the gospel had said Jesus will rise from the dead, until that very moment, they didn't know what was happening, right? And so how many times in your life, until that very moment, you don't know what's happening? Until that very moment, we struggle with faith. Until that very moment, we worry, right? God's word tells us don't worry, right? God's word tells us to make sure that we believe, to be in prayer at all times. How many times in life do we think we're in control, and we've had no control the whole time? Again, easier to look back and see it, right? Tougher to understand it while you're going through it. But I tell you what, when your faith is strong and you walk out on faith and you're walking in faith with faith all day, every day, you start to see the devil and the enemy. When they try to trick you, you start to understand those mountains, and you're not praying for God for tearing down those mountains. You start to say, when you're when you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're looking up, you start to say, all right, God, is this something where you need me to stand still, right? Is there something where you need me to climb this mountain? Or here's where it gets really good. God, am I on the wrong track? Am I on the wrong track? Is this one of those things where you know where I'm headed, and you know the route that I'm on is no good for me and it's no good for others? So is this something where I need to reroute, right? When that conversation changes, when your faith changes, that conversation changes, right? Because you know that God ain't throwing no burdens on you just for nothing, right? It could be something for you. It could be something for someone else. He's always working for our good. So, that's when I read this, that is what I think about, right? At what point must we believe? At what point must we be bold in our faith and know that this very thing that seems impossible, it's not impossible. Maybe God just wants us to think about it for a little bit, to understand that we might be tracking wrong. So if he brought you to it, he'll bring you through it, right? The question is, what does it take for you to believe? Miracle after miracle, struggle after struggle. He always sees us through. And just as they got to the point where they thought someone had taken Jesus' body out of the tomb, and they're worried about where they took the body, right? Until they went inside and started looking, then they understood. Nobody took the body. The body got up on its own, right? And the body's operating again as Jesus has risen, right? So this is deep. I know it's a little bit of a short chapter there, but it's a deep one. At what point do you need to understand that all things are possible? At what point do you need to understand that God's going to deliver you through this situation just like he delivered you through the last situation? At what point do we need to believe Jesus is saying, hey, there's coming a day where I'm going to a place, but before I do, they're going to kill me. They're going to try to kill me. Let me correct myself. They're going to put me in this tomb, and then I'm going to rise again. Right? John chapter 20. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Can't clap because I got a brace on my hand, but I absolutely love it. So I hope that you all are blessed this morning. I pray that you're all blessed this morning. I pray that we have the faith that we need and understanding that this is God's word and he tells us things that we should do and things that we should not do. And I pray that your hearts are open today to receive his word. I pray that your hearts are open today to receive his love. And I pray that as you receive them, matter of fact, I know that as you receive them, you'll be changed. Whatever's in the heart comes out of the mouth eventually or comes out in actions. And today's a great day for a great day to change what you're putting in. My man Christian always says, make sure you put the good stuff in, right? Because once you put that good stuff in, you'll never be the same. Once you accept him, once you get into his word, once you start believing and start understanding, a lot of times. I believed most of my life. I always didn't understand. When you put those together, things change. So you all have a blessed and wonderful Sunday. Make sure you spend some time with your family. Get some memories in that'll last a lifetime. Understand that tomorrow's not promised to any of us. We don't know the day nor the hour. And we must enjoy this time that we have today. Y'all be blessed. See you soon.